Hi guys, and welcome back to another What's for Dinner. My name is Crystal, and this week we do have a request. Also would like to say that if you do enjoy watching What's for Dinner videos, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. For more videos like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, you can always share this video with your friends and your family by clicking on the share button. But before we get started with this What's for Dinner video, I am so excited to say that this video is a collaboration with a sweet friend of mine here on YouTube, and her name is Kim from Kim's Farmhouse Life. She also does a lot of What's for Dinner videos. She also does hauls, cleaning videos, and so much more. I know you guys will enjoy her channel as much as I do. She just keeps it real. Her family cracks me up so much. They're so relatable and so cute. And I know you guys will go love her channel, so please go check her out, go show her some love and support. If you are coming by from her channel, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I hope you guys do enjoy it, and let's get started. So on this day, I am cooking a whole chicken in the oven. I'm using some of my favorite seasonings, and I'm adding some potato. I actually do have a video on how I cook a whole chicken and exactly the seasonings and measuring that I use. If you guys are interested in that video, I will put it down in the description so you can go check it out. The only difference that I did with this chicken is that the leftover seasonings that I had, I actually mixed it into that butter. And then I normally do add the butter underneath the skin like I'm doing right now. But in that video, I didn't do it. I was short on time. But what I like about doing is adding the butter underneath the skin is that it makes it for a crispier chicken. And this chicken just tastes so good. It really reminds me of a rotisserie chicken. My family really enjoys eating this meal, especially my husband. And if you have leftover chicken, there's so many dishes that you can use with just the extra chicken on its own. So I will be cooking this chicken for 2 hours at 400 degrees, and I pretty much put it in the oven and it cooks by itself. That's my favorite part. So alongside this chicken, I usually make like a salad, and we have like tortillas or something else, but this time I didn't have vegetables, so I decided to make a butter rice on the side. And this was mainly for my girls, so I made a little bit. So I start by melting a little bit of butter, and I am going to be using 1 cup of jasmine rice. Feel free to use any rice that you like. This is what I had on hand. The only thing about jasmine rice, I really like it, but to toast it up, it takes a little bit longer. And I just want this nice and golden brown, and it takes a little bit. And then after I got it nice and toasted, I'm going to be adding 2 cups of water. And once that comes to a boil, I'm going to be adding my corn. And this is what we call our butter rice. My mother-in-law taught me how to make it, and it's just a quick way to get a quick side dish, and it's very flavorful. So once it comes to a boil, I'm going to be adding my favorite seasoning. This is the Nor Suiza chicken bouillon, and this is what I use to flavor it and as a salt. I don't add anything else to it. And then I give it a good mix. Once it comes to a boil and I add in my chicken bouillon, I will put this on low and let it cook for 20 minutes. But before I put the lid on it, I'm gonna be adding some corn. I have used canned corn and frozen corn. I just switch back and forth. Frozen corn is what I had, and I just put a little bit in there because my girls really like it with the corn. I put the lid on it and cook it for 20 minutes. So to go along with our chicken, we're going to be making a fire roasted salsa. Me and my husband really like eating salsa, and preferably we like it really spicy. So I will be putting all the ingredients down below so you can go check it out of how many tomatoes and chiles we use. But pretty much what I'm doing here is on my griddle, I am just roasting the chile serranos. I'm using chile de árbol, and I'm also using tomatoes. If you do not like it super spicy, you can use a little bit less, but pretty much what I do is per each tomato I use 2 chile serranos, which are pretty spicy. So if you don't like chile serranos, don't use them. You can use whatever you want to, or you can just use less. And what I do is pretty much I want them nice and toasted, and after that you can decide to peel them. My mistake was when I was grilling them, I completely forgot to take the stem, the top part of the chile, so make sure you do that before and not do it after. So here in my blender I have the chile serranos. I'm adding garlic and just adding a little bit of water, and I'm gonna be blending it. If you guys guys have a high-speed blender like a Vitamix or like the other ones, definitely pulse it and be careful, because the Vitamix, that's the only bad thing I don't like about it, is that for salsa it goes crazy and wants to make a smoothie, and I don't want that. So just pulse it and work with what you can do and do your best. And then I added salt. Salt, you're gonna have to add to taste. You choose how much salt you want. So I always do the chiles first. So I did the chiles serranos in the blender, and then now I'm gonna be adding the chile de árbol. Also, those you want to toast them up a little bit, not too much as the chiles serranos, because if you toast them up too long, they will get bitter. And then I am throwing in my tomatoes just like that. If you want to peel them in cold water, definitely you can do that. I have not noticed a difference, so I just do it this way and it works for me. And then I will show you what the salsa looks, but it was very, very hot. I even got a joke that they said that I must have been so angry because it was so hot, but it's just so delicious. If you love spicy food, you will understand. And then next to it, you can see to the right that molcajete. That's what I use to make it. I grind it. It's a rock and you crush it. That molcajete is actually over 80 years old. It was my grandma's, and that's what I used to make a salsa. I do have a video coming out on that soon. And then that's what the rice with the corn looks like. This is what the chicken looks like fresh out of the oven. It has like those potatoes with the buttery sauce to it. This is how we plate it up. I normally prefer a salad instead of the rice, but hey, I gotta work with what I got, and this is what I had. And then we just put a little bit of that salsa on top, and this meal is so good. So on this day, I'm going to be making some baked french fries. I have showed how I make these baked french fries in another What's for Dinner video, but I decided to show it again. So I use rustic potatoes and I don't peel the skin when I bake them. And what I do is that I wash them really good, and then I cut them into these french fry sizes. Definitely you can cut them thin or thicker, whatever your preference is. I try to keep it at a medium length because they do cook faster this way. And what I do is I am going to be cutting all of them, and I'm just going to be doing a simple seasoning on them, and I'm going to show you the trick to get them nice and crispy. So you do want to have your oven preheated to 400 degrees, and you can use whatever seasonings you want. I really like different seasonings, and I really like food to be nice and flavorful, so this is what I have. I'm going to be using a little bit of olive oil, some Lorry seasoning salt, some garlic salt, and also some black pepper. I'm going to be using this cooking spray just to prevent any of the potatoes from sticking, and I'm only using about a tablespoon of olive oil. Really all this is so that the seasonings could stick to it. And I'm going to be adding black pepper, but if you don't like using any of these seasonings and you just want to use salt, that's totally fine. Hey, you work with what you have and definitely use whatever you have. I always said it on my channel, but definitely I want this for you guys to make it your own, and you use whatever seasonings you want. Don't worry, I'm not going to come to your house to check what seasonings you're using. So the important part of the baked french fries is that you have to line them up where they're not too close to each other and they're not like just all moved around. It is very important so that they can cook through. And what I do is I just line them up like this, and I use the seasonings that I use and that tablespoon of olive oil, and you can choose to mix it with your hand like I did, or a spoon, whatever is easier for you guys. Just add a little bit of cooking spray on top. So for 400 degrees they go in the oven. I don't flip them. If you feel like flipping them, go ahead, but I just don't do it. And then I'm going to be using this spicy chicken sandwiches that I picked up at Aldi. I heard so many people in the comments said that they were so good, and they were absolutely right. They are pretty spicy, but they have like a good kick of spicy, and they were just so easy to make. I just followed the directions behind the packaging, and me and my husband ate these. My girls, it was just too spicy for them, but definitely for a quick easy meals, this chicken sandwich hit the spot. So this is what they look like when they come out of the oven. Like I said, I don't flip them around. I just let them cook in the oven for 20 minutes. It's just simple to me. And this is the way that I plate up my husband's sandwich. So I put a little bit of light mayo on his, and then he wanted some ketchup and mustard. So I placed the spicy chicken patty sandwich on there, and then I put a little bit of lettuce on there. Also some ketchup and mustard, like I said, and we had a side of pickle and some french fries, and this meal was very, very delicious. So on this day, I'm going to be making a mayo lettuce corn salad. This was a requested video, so I'm going to be showing you how we make this. This is a side dish that my mother-in-law makes that at first I thought sounded kind of weird because I'm not a huge fan of mayo, but once I tried it, it was really, really good. And it's just super, super simple. All I do is chop up some lettuce. Definitely, if you like romaine lettuce, you can go ahead and use that. I only had iceberg on hand, so that's what I did. And you can shred it up either way you had. At first, I was shredding it and thinking, oh no, I remember that she chops it up. So the half of the lettuce was shredded and the other half was chopped. But hey, it works. So you cut your lettuce however you want to. I ended up, this is the part where I'm seeing that I'm like, okay, no, I have to chop it up, not shred it. But like I said, it works with it. Then I rinsed it, washed it, and then I'm gonna be adding corn to it, and then I'm gonna be adding about half a cup of mayo. I think I use. I will put it down in the description, the measurements exact. And then black pepper. It's just super simple. And then corn, very simple. Like I said, I use frozen corn because that's what I had on hand. I steamed it and then I added to it. This is the first thing that I'm doing before I start cooking the fried chicken, because I want to put this in the fridge so it could have time. I think I put it in the fridge for about an hour and that was perfectly ready. So I added the steamed corn, but I did let the corn cool down a little bit because I didn't want to add it to the lettuce all hot. But definitely you can use canned corn, fresh corn, whatever you have on hand. And then I'm going to be adding some black pepper. If you know our family, we love our black pepper. So it's just simple like that. You don't need to add salt, but if you do want to add salt or any other seasonings, feel free to use that. So like I said, we added the lettuce, the mayo, the corn, and the black pepper, and just as simple like that, you have a quick side dish. So I do want to apologize because I noticed that this week my camera was not focusing on some of the clips. I do apologize for that, and next time I will try to look out for that. So now I'm going to be making a fried chicken. This isn't like a traditional fried chicken. I'm not saying this is the only way to make fried chicken. This is just the simple way that my mother-in-law taught me how to make fried chicken. So if you have a favorite way of making fried chicken, you can definitely make it the way you guys make it. This is just a very simple, easy way to do it. And I do have a video on how I do it. It's not the greatest quality, but I will put it down in the description. It just gets to the point. And what I'm doing is I'm only using drumsticks because I got them on sale. I did cut a slit through them so that they cook up faster. And then I use about 1 cup of flour in this bag. I use these plastic bags because it's just a little bit easier for easier cleanup. I start off with 1 cup of flour because I am using raw chicken and I don't want to be using it after I'm gonna have to throw it away. So if I need more, I usually would use more, but 1 cup was enough. And I had about 12 chicken drumsticks because I did invite my in-laws over to eat. And then I know you saw you didn't see me season the flour. I usually do this, but one time I didn't do it. I ended up adding the seasonings on top, and I feel like it works better this way. I know, as weird as it sounds, and it's just like, that's not right, girl. No, it's fine. It's totally fine. What ends up happening is that when I season the flour, I still have to season the chicken, and I feel like I'm using extra seasoning than what I have to, because I feel like when I season the flour, it just doesn't really get the flavor of it. So what I do is I season the chicken on top of it. I know it looks really weird and doesn't seem right, but just trust me on this one, you guys will enjoy it. And like I said, I'm gonna be deep frying these fried chicken, so I'll show you how I cook them right now. So I am using vegetable oil, and I wait till it's about hot. I have it on a medium heat, and then I just put the drumsticks in. I like to cook them 10 minutes per side, but some of the drumsticks are a little bit bigger, so just make sure you cook them until they are fully cooked. And like I said, I do cook them 10 minutes per side, and as I cook more and more, they get darker because the oil gets darker. So if you do make this at home, just be aware of that.
We didn't mind sitting out in the cold. It wasn't possible to make us embarrassed. We were free.
So normally when I cook the fried chicken, I like to make mashed potatoes, but I was just out of potatoes from using it with the whole chicken. So I ended up making a Mexican red rice. If you guys are interested in a video on how I make it, I will put it where I showed in another What's for Dinner. And then we put a little bit of the mayo corn lettuce side dish on there, and then we also had leftover salsa from the other day, and we added that on top of the fried chicken. And this fried chicken is one of my husband's favorite as well. This week we cooked a lot of chicken. I almost felt like we were gonna grow wings. So on this day, we went over to my in-laws, and they made Tortas Estilo Mexicali. And my father-in-law is from Mexicali, and he made these. That is ham, and it looks very crispy. He likes to cook things very crispy. Him and my mother-in-law joke around saying that he burns all the food, but it was actually really good. So he toasted up some ham, and then that is bologna. He did fry up some bologna. If you were to make this at home and you want to make this a little bit lighter, go ahead, but I thought it was actually really good. It wasn't like super crunchy as I thought it was. And pretty much we are going to be adding some toppings. So we use some queso fresco. We also use some tomato and lettuce. And my mother-in-law had a mayo and mustard as well. I didn't add it since she did add butter to the bread, and the bread that we're using is a virote, and usually that kind of bread, it's either called virote or bolillo. You find it in a Mexican store, but if you were to make this at home, feel free to use any bread that you have, sandwich bread, a roll, whatever you like. And then we also added jalapenos on top, and this torta is really good. And like I said, my father-in-law made this for us, and it was so delicious. I love spending time with family and good food, just a good time and a good laugh. So I do apologize because I'm moving the camera around too much. This was pretty tricky assembling this with one hand, but hey, I made it work. And this torta was really good. So if you do give this a try, I did make a hashtag putting Crystal's Foodies, and you can tag me on Instagram or on Facebook. So go ahead, I will put that hashtag right now if you guys decide to recreate and take a picture. We really enjoy seeing the pictures. So on this day, my mother-in-law invited us over again, and she made her famous red rice. My mother-in-law is such an amazing person. I have talked about her on my channel. She is so sweet, and she just is an amazing cook, and she invited us over. She made homemade enchilada verde sauce. If you guys are interested in a video, please let me know down in the comments, and we will definitely get on it. And then also she uses chicken breast. She cooks up the chicken and shreds it. And if you guys are interested in a video on how I make that Mexican red rice. If I will put it down in the description, like I said. And then we are using tortillas de maíz, which is corn tortillas. And then we are just using a little bit of vegetable oil just to soften them up a little bit so that they're easy to roll. Like I said, I do apologize. I wasn't doing as great of a job as I normally would because I was using one hand. But hey, I made it work. I could have, drained it a little bit more, but hey, I made it happen. So I do apologize because my camera was focusing in and out, but now I'm going to be plating up the enchiladas. I know normally some people do bake them in the oven, but we do not. And then they add like cheese and everything. We don't do them like that. This is the way we do them. We cook them up in a little bit oil to soften them. We add the chicken and then we roll. But because I didn't like drain off the oil exact, my tortilla was going a little crazy, but it's fine. We're gonna eat it at the end of the day, so it's all good. So I was rolling them up, and this is actually my husband's plate. I made him 3 of them, and then all I do is put the chicken breast inside, the shredded chicken breast, and I rolled it up, and then I'm gonna be adding that sauce. And like I said, if you guys want that recipe or want to see it in another what's for dinner video, please let me know down in the comments so that I can show you how she makes that salsa verde for enchiladas. So as you can see, I did add a lot of sauce. My husband likes it with a lot of sauce, and so do I, a lot of the enchilada verde sauce. And then on top of them, we add shredded lettuce. And then we will do different toppings. We'll add queso cotija, which is a dry cheese. It is very similar to Parmesan cheese, and you can find that in any Mexican grocery store. It comes in a block and you shred it. If not, you can get it all shredded, ready to go. And then we're going to be adding some radishes, and then you can definitely add sour cream on top if you want. You can also add any kind of other cheese that you want. It's really however you want to. You plate it however you want, but this is what it looks like. My husband isn't a fan of sour cream, and what I do is instead of sour cream, I use Greek yogurt. But this is my husband's plate, like I said, and this is one of my favorite dishes that my mother-in-law makes. But honestly, that woman can make anything, and it's so delicious. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's What's for Dinner. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this, as well as don't forget to share this video with your friends and family, and do not forget to go show some love and support to my friend Kim. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.
You look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours.